Hello classmates, we will be discussing about Jean-Jacques Rousseau. Who is Jean-Jacques Rousseau? Rousseau was born in the independent Calvinist city-state of Geneva in 1712, the son of Jacques Rousseau, a watchmaker, and Suzanne Bernard. Rousseau's mother died 9 days after his birth, with the consequence that Rousseau was raised and educated by his father until the age of 10. Rousseau was a writer, philosopher, and unique among entrants on this list, a composer of operas and classical compositions. Born in Geneva, then a city-state in the Swiss Confederacy, Rousseau would be one of the most consequential thinkers of the Enlightenment era. His ideas on human morality, inequality, and most importantly on the right to rule, would have an enormous indefinable impact not just on thinking in Europe, but on the actual power dynamics within Western civilization. Indeed, his most important works would identify personal property as the root to inequality and would refute the premise that monarchies are divinely appointed to rule. Rousseau proposed the earth-shattering idea that the only people have a true right to rule. These ideas fomented the French Revolution, and more broadly, helped bring an end to a centuries-old entanglement between church, crown, and country. Rousseau may be credited for providing a basic framework for classical republicanism, a form of government centered around the ideas of civil society, citizenship, and mixed governance. What did Jean-Jacques Rousseau write? Jean-Jacques Rousseau wrote the philosophical treatises, a discourse on the origins of inequality in 1755, and the social contract in 1762, the novels Julie or the New Eloy in 1761, and Emile or Own Education in 1762, and the autobiographical confessions in 1782 to 1789, among other works.
Rousseau's big ideas suggested that man was at his best in a primitive state suspended between brute animalistic urges on the one end of the spectrum and the decadence of civilization on the other, and therefore uncorrupted in his morals, suggested that the further we deviate from our state of nature, the closer we move to the decay of species. An idea that comports with modern environmental and conservationist philosophies, wrote extensively on education and in advocating for an education that emphasized the development of individual moral character, is sometimes credited as an early proponent of child-centered education. Why is Jean-Jacques Rousseau famous? Jean-Jacques Rousseau is famous for reconceiving the social contract as a compact between the individual and a collective general will, aimed at the common good and reflected in the laws of an ideal state, and for maintaining the existing society rests on the false social contract that perpetuates inequality and rule by the rich. Some of his famous quotes are, "People who know little are usually great talkers, while men who know much say little." To be seen in a world of madmen is in itself madness. What wisdom can you find greater than kindness? Thank you for listening.